I'm talking to Katie Lopes today, who is the founder of Stripe and Stare. Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am the co-founder of Stripe and Stare. We set up in 2017, and I have a business partner, Nicola. So we've had co-founded the business. So we have a really good balance. I do the kind of creative PRE sales design stuff, and Nicola does the more sort of operational side, which is a really good balance. And I would recommend to any founders so we can both play on our strengths. The business was actually founded after 6 years of research and development into the perfect pair of knickers for every single day. So I had my own retail stores in London, and we sold fashion, sort of contemporary brands. Like, we were the first people in the UK to stock brands like Zimmermann and Rag and Bone. So like that sort of contemporary higher end product. But we were selling a range of lacy G-strings at the till. And I got super interested in underwear because these women were coming in and buying armfuls of this little ball of lace. And it was from a US brand and they were described as the world's most comfortable thong. And I was like, well, this is amazing. And, underwear is a unique part of fashion in that it has massive brand loyalty. So whereas we might jump around in the jeans we buy, the dress, the jumper, we tend to go back again and again for underwear once we find one that we love. So I was like, well, it's amazing that we've got these thongs, but we're British and we like a good pair of knickers. And they were just, I couldn't find a brand to buy in to the store. So with no great grand plan, I used to go on sourcing trips all over the world. But I met a man who had an underwear factory, and I'm embarrassed to say I can't sew, but my mother can. And so she sewed up a sample that we sent to this factory, and we would just do small production runs once a year. But what I didn't realize that I had was like a daily focus group. So it was a really customer focused journey. So I could talk to the women who had bought the product and say, what do you like? What don't you like? And make those design tweaks every time we did a new production run. And this was around sort of 2008, 9. So it was at a time when we were beginning to understand the damage that fashion as an industry was doing to the planet. So it felt like if you were going to start something new or create a new product, we knew better than to do it the same way it had always been done, and to come at it with fresh eyes and how can we do this in a more sort of planet friendly, sustainable way. So we then sourced this fiber, which is from Lenzing in Austria, who we're obsessed with. So I've got it here. You can see the fibers in our products start life as a wood. They're from trees, so it's all sustainably sourced from non-protected, totally regenerated tree sources. And they have this incredible process in Austria. I've just been out to visit the factory. And I mean, it's in the forest. You can just imagine in Austria on those clean lakes, the blue skies, the forests, and the sort of natural rivers running through the actual factory with trout in it. It's that clean and green how they produce. It's all totally carbon neutral. So the more research we did into sustainability, the more we were like, wow, this company, this one specific company, are the real deal. They're so ahead of their time in terms of sustainable processes. So that's why they're the only fibers that we use in all of our range. The other great thing about them is they are scientifically 2 to 3 times softer than cotton. They have, at the factory, they showed me how they actually can prove that scientifically. And they have an abrasion machine. So they have this little machine that rubs the fibers, and they capture the noise that comes off the fibers. So obviously the less noise that comes from the rubbing of the fibers, the softer it is. And this one is basically completely soundless. It's that soft. People can never believe that something so soft comes from a tree at the beginning of its life. So this is the knicker shape that we came up with after all of our research and development. And I think because I wasn't from that traditional sort of underwear background, I could never understand why knickers have all that heavy elastic in the seams, because I think that's what digs in, that's what can ride up, that's what gives you the unsightly lines. So coming at it with fresh eyes, we removed all the elastic, and we have this sort of unique flat lock stitching design with the lace. So that gives you a completely sort of flat, seam-free finish when you're wearing them. Yeah, so we're super proud of the fibers. They are they've got every eco certification on the planet. They've got their Okotex 100 certified, which means it's a non-harmful fiber. So it's been certified for use against newborn baby skin. So a lot of our customers will say, oh, I only wear cotton knickers. And we're like, well, just try this because it's still a natural fiber. So it still breathes with the skin. And 9 times out of 10, they'll come back and say, actually, yeah, this is non-irritating. And it's, so it's been quite a ride. So the knickers have been described as the most comfortable in the world by everybody from Vogue to Forbes to InStyle. And what we love the most is 98% of women who wear them say that they're the most comfortable that they've ever worn. And you can see we publish all of our reviews on our website. People never believe that because they're like, well, where's the bad stuff? And I'm like, I promise you we publish it. But just most women who try them love them so much and say they have to throw away all their other underwear just to wear these every day.
Amazing. It's amazing. I love listening to you, Katie, because it really is properly, as in, this is how business should be done in this day and age where we know better. Katie, you started with the knickers you showed
Mm-hmm.
us, which is obviously still your product and you produce this. How did it evolve? So how did business evolve over the last years?
Well, so as I said, we started in 2017 and it was with we were your typical female founders, started very small, very risk averse, lots and lots of testing. And we've just really gradually built up the range into sleepwear, underwear goes with. So now we do the matching soft bralettes. The PJs are amazing. It's like sleeping in a cloud because it's all that same super soft fiber that breathes with you so you don't overheat at night. So we're really keeping it. I'm a big believer in, as a business owner, you need to stay very focused and figure out what you can be the best in the world at. So if anyone says, what are you the best in the world at? It's always the knickers. So we have that at the heart of the business. And then everything else, all the goes with the sleepwear is sort of for people who fall in love with the underwear and then like want more from us in the range. And we're B Corp certified. Do you have a good understanding of the B Corp certification? It's something I always ask people because I'm trying to assess what the awareness for the certification is like.
I would love for you to talk us through it, Katie, because that is something that everyone hears all the time now, but I'm not sure everyone knows.
I agree. And I think if you're in the industry, you sort of have a really good understanding of it, but the general consumer, it's much more complicated. So we had huge growth through the pandemic, this category shopping online. So most of our businesses online. We do work with retailers like Selfridges and then a few in the US like Shopbop and Revolve. But our personal online business exploded during the pandemic. And then we were sort of racing to keep up with that for a couple of years. But then when we were coming out of all the lockdowns, we were like, right, how do we grow the business? How do we separate ourselves from all the greenwashing that goes on in the fashion industry and these false claims? Because we always want authenticity to be at the heart of everything we do and to take the customers on our sustainable journey with us, because it's hard producing anything, and there are always unintended consequences to any way you do things. So we just are trying to be the best that we can. So we decided that the B Corp certification was the best way of showing customers that an independent body had verified us as a company and that all the claims we were making were true. So B Corp is more than just about environmental. It's about the social side as well. It's about how you treat your staff. It's about how you treat your suppliers. It's about all of your processes. They come in, and it takes 18 months to get it. And they come in and they look at every aspect of your business. And you have to give them proof for everything you claim. So it's just a way of showing the consumer that when we say something, it's true and that we are doing our best. We are only 3% of underwear is sustainably sourced. So that's our real mission, is to change that statistic. And so that you do have a message, you are disrupting something that has been done in a old-fashioned or different way, and you're trying to do it in a different, cleaner way going forward. Yeah.
I love that, Katie. Thank you for explaining. And I think that women are really at the forefront of that. I mean, I see more and more women coming up with concepts just because the status quo isn't good enough and the percentages look harrowing. So women
Mm.
step up and want to
I
change
think
that.
women do have that real sort of sense of social responsibility. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously a lot of men do too, but it's definitely something that in female founders that I meet is a passion
Yeah.
normally. Yeah.
Katie, what would you say is your main motivator?
Paying my bills. I have two small children and I'm a single mother, so that's obviously important. But it's more than that. It's about, our entire business and brand is about empowering women. Like, so we have some key brand messages. So number one is comfort. And then the two beneath that are the sustainability and the uplifting women and supporting women. And to me, sustainability is just something that we should all be doing. So that's just a given. Whereas the supporting women, uplifting women is really key, core to my heart, and something that I really love that we're able to do as a business. We do a lot of charity projects last year, for example, we worked with a local women's homeless shelter. We worked with Choose Love for when the Ukrainian war broke out. We worked with Deborah James, who you probably know as Bowel Babes, with Lorraine on a bowel cancer awareness box. So those kind of things, and really, building that community and supporting other women is a big passion of mine.
Thank you for sharing that, Katie. That's really inspiring.
No,
Katie, what would you say is your superpower? What do you think makes
hard
you?
work. I don't think there's any magic trick. It's just, it's a lot of work. But the beauty of running your own business is I get to go and do my school pickups and drop-offs with my children. If there's an important event in their lives, I can make sure I'm there. But then, so I'll work late into the evening to make up those hours. So that's, it's hard work, and it's just trying to live, I think, by your principles, so sort of always feeling like you're doing the right thing in the right situation, which is part of the whole B Corp promise, is like really thinking about others and not just about the company profit. It's about doing things which are probably more expensive. Like everything we ship is in biodegradable packaging, so there's no plastic. The knickers are 95% biodegradable at the end of their life, and we did actually last year launch a 100% biodegradable knicker. So that was a real achievement, but the fibers that go into it are quite expensive. We're trying as quick as we can to move that new fiber biodegradable. It's the elastics in it which are not biodegradable at the moment, so we're trying to move those biodegradable elastics into our main line, and that's a real goal for us this year. So I suppose it's leaving the planet in a slightly better, or doing something slightly positive. I know it's just a pair of knickers, but it is a product we wear every single day. We can't buy secondhand, and we should care about where it goes at the end of its life. So rather than recycling, we're focused on a product that you can just bury and then it disappears in 6 to 12 months at the end of its life. So not contributing to landfill.
Incredible, Katie. I love that. I really, really am absolutely bowled over by this incredible vision because it takes a big vision. It's a real dream to make that a reality.
Yeah, and I don't think it started with that big vision. I think it's kind of like gain momentum over time when you start to look into do the research into fiber productions and the underwear market, and then you're suddenly like your eyes just open with the more that you learn. So it becomes a big mission.
Katie, I would love to know a little bit more about how you run the company because, of course, sustainability is super important. What about the spirit of the company, the team, the how with the B Corp certification? How have you built that sort of whatever you want to call it, this ethos? What is your ethos?
Well, so every staff member in the company is a shareholder. We have in our brand DNA, I think another thing, because I was sort of, what was I, 40, 41 when we started this company. And I used to work in television and in some quite toxic office environments. And so I think when you've come out of situations like that, you see how you don't want things done. So we do try very hard to live and breathe that brand DNA of like having each other's backs. We rise by lifting others. You know, we're a team, we're in it together. So we all make mistakes. It's about owning them. We usually have a bit of a laugh, and then we figure out together how we're going to fix it. I mean, it is tough because half our office now is in London and half of it is in Devon. So that communication is hard. And I think that's just going to get harder and harder. But you know, just we have regular strategy updates with the whole team. We try and involve every member of the team in understanding what we're trying to do as a business, why we're trying to do it, so that we call it getting on the bus. So everyone's on the bus. We're all going in the same direction and we all know what we're trying to achieve and the manner we go about that.
I love that. And I think that's particularly important as we've seen Jacinta, who resigned as a prime minister, and her style of leadership was so often criticized. And it's a female style of leadership, and it's not an alpha leadership. So I love hearing that.
Yeah, I think there's not that ego, you know, it's just because I'm the boss, it doesn't mean I know better. Everybody has a voice within the company and it's always listened to. Yeah, and I think there were some real trailblazers of women. Like, you know, I always look at Natalie Messenet, who founded Net-a-Porter, and you know, she was famous for just being kind to her staff. And you don't need to be abrasive and rude and shout. In fact, who wants to work in an environment and do a good job in that? Kindness gets you a lot further, I think.
Absolutely. Katie, what would your top tips be for other women? Maybe women who are unsure about starting their own business.
I think it's one of our angel investors at the beginning, because I'm naturally quite I think I have a bit of ADHD, you know, always on the go, always busy, always rushing. It's slow and steady. You know, you just need to do your homework. You need to do your research one day at a time. It's just make a start, because we could all procrastinate, can't we? And just say, I'm going to do this one day. And it's like, even if you get it wrong, just sit down and start and just go slow, do your research. And I think that's where things just evolve from.
Thank you. Katie, my last question would be, what are your plans or dreams for your future, for your business future?
So for the business, that's an easy one. We have one amazing product that we want millions of women to wear. This year, we're very focused on the UK and America. We are launching on Zalando, so that means we'll be going into all the European countries any day. So it's literally getting that one product onto as many women's bottoms as we possibly can. And I mean, we talk about exits because we have investors, you know, so we need to have business plans and tell them what our strategy is. So we do talk about exiting in about 3 or 5 years, but, you know, we might be having so much fun, we want to stay in the business. We don't know, but at the moment it would be an exit in 3 to 5 years. And then my dream is about taking that, supporting other women in business a little bit further. So trying to invest in, mentor, one of those types of things of supporting women. And it's only got such a terrible statistic, only £1 in every 100 of investment money in the UK goes to female founded businesses. So that's something that has to change, and I'd love to be part of helping it to
Absolutely, Katie, you're speaking my language 100%. This is why we're here. This is why we've launched She Can, and we're going to build up an all-female shopping mall because it has to change, right? And less than 2% of VC money goes to female-founded businesses. As you said, $1 out of 100 goes to female-founded brands. And thank God we have people like Sahar Hashemi, who does Buy Women Build and is going to label every female-founded business. And, you know, so things are changing. But, and I think the WEF just said it takes another 130 years for gender equity. And I just think, you know, and they were celebrating, oh my God, 10% of the Fortune 500 companies are now led by women. And I think just these are such depressing statistics, and they have to be changed. And now it's time for action, and we will change it. And I'm certainly not going to step into my grave like this.
No, and it won't. And there are so many women like you, like, as you said, Sahar. And I was just at an event at the House of Lords, which had a room of 100 female founders. And, you know, we're all on a mission. It will change. I have no doubt. And I've got a 4-year-old daughter. I have to change it for her.
Yes, me too. Absolutely same. Thank you so much for
I
talking to me
really
today,
enjoyed it.
Katie.
Congratulations on all you're doing. Thank you for having me.